Pleasant good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of PLDT Enterprise, it is my pleasure to welcome you all to today's program. Given the uncertainty that we face in the current situation, it is easy to fall victim to stagnation. And this has become all the more true today, given the reimplementation of MEECQ. It's precisely because of this that we were inspired to take on the tagline, Keep Moving Forward. While we recognize the limitations and difficulties this situation poses for all of us, we would also like to underscore our commitment and dedication to our customers. Now more than ever, we are determined to enable each and every single one of you so that you may continue to reinvent your operations and power through these unprecedented times. Every day we find little things that make us believe everything is going to get better, and we want to encourage you to do the same. The solutions that we will be covering today are but a glimpse of the future we want you to envision. As we continue to navigate through the uncertainty, let us be inspired by the moments that fuel us so that we can design a better and smarter future. One where we can explore, discover, and live like never before. Together, let's keep moving forward.
The smile of a total stranger, the voice of a loved one, the taste of something sweet, the warmth of an embrace. Simple moments remind us of what matters most. These moments make us believe there are better things ahead. These moments fuel us to carry on and keep moving forward. Sometimes when it feels like there's nowhere else to go, like nothing is going your way, when all seems hopeless, have the courage to move forward. Explore, discover, live. Sometimes it's the little things that keep us moving forward.
And to keep moving forward is also our direction at PLDT Enterprise. We are one with our customers in facing head-on the challenges of these times. The COVID-19 outbreak has been a pivotal moment for the world's digital transformation. Pre-pandemic, talks of Industry 4.0 had long been a hot topic, and the current situation has only accelerated that reality for some industries. A lot has already been said about the sudden massive shift to working from home. This has put collaboration, e-commerce, and streaming platforms at the forefront. The skyrocketing use of these, plus the shift of the flow of data to favor more of the areas of residence, had become a call for us in PLDT and Smart to exert every effort to meet these demands. Of equal importance is that many businesses and even whole industries are challenged with running their stores, offices, factories, and data centers without having access to on-site staff. It became clear that many were not prepared with proper business continuity plans, and that some had lacked or did not put importance to ample digital transformation initiatives. Systems that have been the backbone for some of the most successful business operations had suddenly been driven into obsolescence. Imagine that, with all the sophisticated machinery, processes, and technology we as a society have grown accustomed to, this situation has showed us just how dispensable many of our methods actually are. Connectivity and mobility are way up there as top resources that have allowed us to adjust to these times. While other technologies have proven to be essential, it cannot be questioned that wireless solutions are valued for their agility. They are simple to deploy, and when properly designed, does not compromise quality. This is true even for us at the PLDT Group. In our commitment to help combat COVID-19, we have donated an array of our wireless solutions, from prepaid and postpaid SIMs, vehicle trackers, and push-to-talk units to over 500 public and private sector organizations. Likewise, we have also enabled private organizations to quickly adapt to telecommute with our pocket Wi-Fi, BizLoad, and SmartBro solutions, to name a few. Because businesses have varied needs, they avail of different solutions suited to their setup and requirements. The flexibility of our wireless solutions has enabled businesses to sustain operations so they can continue to deliver services essential to keep society afloat. Many organizations from the IT and BPO sector, for example, have deployed pocket Wi-Fi units for employees. With this, they can continue to serve their clients even while working from home. There's many other examples, from tracker solutions to manage fleets and inventory, prepaid load disbursement to efficiently roll out cost-effective voice and data buckets, to digital forms, as multiple industries have become paperless and contactless almost overnight. And it doesn't stop here. Rather, this need to evolve will continue and will define our resilience to meet the challenges ahead. One key takeaway from these experiences is that agility is key in this next phase of work. The reason that there has been clamor for mobility and wireless technologies is because of the speed at which it can be delivered to customers and then adapted to immediately address business needs. Moreover, the ways we are expected to explore, discover, and live will be defined and even disrupted by wireless solutions that are anticipated to transform businesses across sectors. The lines between physical and virtual experiences will become all the more blurred, with industries looking to merge these two seamlessly. And those that do so will have a distinct competitive advantage. We're seeing these today as enterprises look to wireless solutions to monitor employee wellness, improve food safety, train and upskill their employees, and automate business processes. We're excited as we see an increased uptake across multiple industries. From being trends and novelties, e-learning, e-health, and e-commerce will be fundamentals that today's consumers will expect from enterprises. The world as we knew it is changing, and at a rate like never before. As we hear about the technologies that will be essential to all of us, I'd like to leave you all with some food for thought. As the adage goes, necessity is the mother of invention. Which of our processes or systems have suffered or have become obsolete because of the pandemic? Do we declare these functions as dated, or can we look for ways to reinvent them through technology? Let us be resilient. Let us reinvent. That is, to keep moving forward. In order to do that, let's take a look at the key drivers enabling our transformation.
Good afternoon, and thank you for attending this virtual event. As we heard from Jojo, COVID has really impacted our lives and our jobs, our businesses, and the way we operate. And the access to communications has never been more important. Now, we observed a surge of traffic immediately after ECQ started. It was in an average of 25% in days. In some areas, it was 60% and more. That was unparalleled, but I'm happy to report that we were able to cope with this massive traffic increase as activities moved to residential, working from home, and meeting more and more virtually by means like this event. And the peak hour, which typically was in the evening, has become a peak period during the whole day. But you can feel safe. We've got you covered. Next slide, please. Not only were we able to massively increase the capacities over the last months in order to support the needs of our customers in the time they needed the most, we were in addition able to provide some immediate solution for people who had to instantly transform their business because all of a sudden shops are closed and you had to move to delivery-based services. Like in this case with Joyride and Happy Move, we equipped 10,000 tricycle drivers with communication and connectivity solutions. Or learning from home has become the new standard. As the schools cannot open and the kids cannot go to school, remote learning has become the new standard. We were working with, for example, with the University of Cagayan and Microsoft Learning Management System for faculties and students, and we provided the connectivity. Lastly, one critical support was a live tracking update in collaboration with DLTR using smart tracking solutions with GPS. We could equip 80 buses for 20 routes and 19 hospitals visible to the critical health frontliners. Now, all of that are just examples. There are much more. But how do we know actually that things are working and we have got you covered? Next slide, please. Now, when we look to what we deliver to our customers, our number one target is actually to achieve the best customer experience. Because we are convinced only if a customer is happy, we can make a good business. And in order to achieve that, in order to measure that, we are engaging with the leading companies in the world doing benchmarking of networks. They give us an outside-in view based on your experience as you use our services and networks. And in the last years, I'm happy to say that we have won all the awards which are available here in the Philippines, whether it's for the mobile or for the fixed network. And it's not only about speed. As you can see, OpenSignal awarded us for best video experiences. And by the way, with one of the highest improvements, in particular in the first half of this year, worldwide, best games experience and best voice up experience, but also with the best availability. We have the furthest reaching mobile network in the Philippines. Next slide, and really brand new, fresh out of the press, is this report from Ookla, who provides a speed test award for fixed and for mobile. On the left side, you see the mobile. And this is in the period of the ECQ. Smart has outperformed our competition by large. And if you look to the fixed side, also PLDT has outperformed any other provider in the time. And this is not because we spend more than others can do. It's because the way we have approached it, by looking outside in and relying on others to tell us whether our network is good or not. Next slide, please. Now, this journey to reach here and to be able to provide our customers with an excellent service began in 2015. Since then, we have invested more than $5 billion or equivalent of 250 billion pesos in order to transform our network and digitalize our network end to end. Today, we have a truly combined network which nationwide delivers best fixed and mobile experiences. It is the most resilient network. It is fully virtualized, has the most advanced technologies for transport and radio technologies, and has the highest capacity for our customers, not only on the domestic, but in particular also on the international connectivity. And just to give you one example, in total, we have currently about 360,000 fiber cable kilometer laid in the Philippines. This is as much as rounding around the world more than 25 times. And last but not least, all this transformation has made our network 5G ready. Next slide, please. Now 5G, mobile technology, what are we talking about? You see that every 10 years, there was a major innovation. In 90s, we had voice mobile technology and the rise of SMS messaging at that time. 10 years later, we saw 3G coming. 3G introduced the first time the term mobile data, but it was kind of slow. It was more for messaging, browsing, maybe email, not really video or other high bandwidth apps. That changed with LTE or 4G. LTE is the first true mobile broadband technology, which today can deliver data rates which are beyond 100 megabit per second. If you have the right phone, of course, and you are in the right area. It provides faster data rates and massive capacities to our customers. And it is a network which is good for us, not only today, also for the next future. So then you will say, so why are we talking then 5G? It's not only because it's 10 years later and technology has to innovate. The LTE is one size fits all network. You have one network and you can do many things with it. But because it's one size fits all, it's not very flexible. That's the difference with 5G. 5G is not only because it's newer, much faster, but it's much, much more flexible. It's highly customizable, and that makes it in particular interesting for our enterprise customers. And just to say it right away, it will not replace LTE and it will not replace fiber. It will be an additional technology with a massive opportunity going forward. Next slide, please. Now, you can't do 5G overnight. Now, admittedly, this is a little bit small print here. I just want to tell you that when we started the transformation journey 5 years ago, we also started the 5G journey. And our first 5G showcase was already in 2016. In 2018, we launched the first smart city with Clark. In 2019, the first 5G smart campus, the first 5G mobile phone, and in November, the first shopping mall in Araneta City was equipped with 5G already. The highlight were the SEA Games, and I'll come later to that at the end of last year. And in this year, we showed how you can enrich sports and gaming with 5G. Eventually, we launched a mobile service just last week in some areas of the Metro Manila and BGC. And today we are here for the keeping moving forward the event. Next slide, please. So what can you do with 5G? And I want to only give a few examples. Of course, you have a faster internet and you have lower latency, and this is mainly enjoyed by the gaming people around us. But there are a lot of opportunities in enterprise, and here are some flavors. These are use cases we have actually implemented. Here's a smart surveillance project, small thing. It's a queue detector and a crowd flow analysis, just with a camera and 5G. And it has become very relevant in the time of social distancing to be able, without physical contact, to steer crowds or to avoid that crowds are being built, which is the new norm, as I think. Next, please. A very similar project is the parking analyzer, which, again, just with a camera and machine learning, can not only analyze and optimize the use of parking space, but it can also optimize the traffic flow. And again, no human interaction required. And again, in the times of physical distancing or social distancing is very, very important. Next slide, please. I think the highlight of our 5G use cases was by no doubt the Southeast Asian Games last year. We had equipped a few stadiums, most of which in New Clark City. And we not only showed 5G in live streaming in a 360-degree setup, but also we showed augmented reality and virtual reality with high quality videos, which enable completely new experiences. You could watch sports as if you were among the sports people, as if you were on the field without having to be there. Again, in these times, a very important innovation which is possible because of 5G. You don't need to be there to feel like if you were part of it. Next slide, please. Now, this is it. 5G is a platform for you to innovate to new solutions. Don't expect to buy a 5G device and all of a sudden everything will be better. But it provides you the flexibility to innovate your business with the solution you need in order to cope with the situation we are in. Whether you use the capabilities of low latency, high speed, very ultra high availability, private networks, this is a virtuous platform which will help you to innovate, and we will help you with that with our solutions. Next slide. So please talk to us to find out what smarts 5G will be able to do for you. We are here to help you, and we got you covered. Thank you very much.
Ever wondered what it would be like to travel to the future, to see what lies ahead, to know just how things will look like in a couple of years' time? Well, with today's technologies, we don't need to wonder any longer. We already have a glimpse of what comes next. Together, with key industry leaders and innovators, we've designed, tested, and deployed solutions that will enable us with the means to explore, discover, and live in unprecedented ways, so we can keep moving forward. With the pace of life today, we know that every second counts, and efficiency is everything. That's why in the future, no time is wasted. Those few minutes you have shuffling between meetings and waiting for service vehicles, that right there is the sweet spot. That's time just for you. Time to explore opportunities, interests, and other ways of getting around. Forget about guessing when a fleet will get to you. Smart Tracker allows you to pinpoint just where it is so you can get more things done. Check it out. Its GPS tracking system can show exactly where our company shuttle is and how far away it is before it gets to me. This gives me just enough time to call up a loved one, respond to emails, or even take a quick coffee break. This time is all mine. Come on, fleet's here. What did I tell you? Not a minute goes to waste. The solution right here allows you to make the most of your life and explore like never before. The great thing about Smart Tracker is that it's making things more efficient across industries. Virtually any business can have better hold of their time. It isn't just about tracking the location of company fleets for employees. It can make delivery even more seamless too. With your phone or tablet, you can easily track exactly where your delivery personnel are, so you can keep customers updated on when they can expect their packages to arrive. In just a few clicks, you can easily monitor the location, drive behavior, and delivery status. You can only imagine how this will change the game for everyone. Don't take my word for it. Let's take a look at how one of our Smart Tracker customers gets things done.
Toyota forklifts plays a vital role in the supply chain of essential goods during this pandemic. We have many customers that depend on our forklifts in their factories and warehouses to deliver essential goods day in and day out. This pandemic spared no one, both in the financial and operational aspects. Plus, this so-called new normal brought a lot of new limitations and restrictions that focused us to rethink of our usual ways of doing business. This pandemic is not an excuse for us not to operate, because customers still rely on our forklifts to move their essential goods. We have to embrace a new normal and had to find creative ways on how we can continuously serve our customers during this pandemic. This pushed us to take the big leap from physical to digital, which we previously just took for granted. We had to remain business as usual during this pandemic. In order to survive, we literally went digital overnight. We moved our SAP system from physical servers to cloud servers so we can all work from anywhere we are. We shifted from our physical stores to online stores so that all our customers can buy or rent forklift from us from the comforts of their home. We equipped our personnel with everything mobile so that we are connected with each other online, anytime and anywhere. Smart Tracker is the secret behind our renowned Toyota after-sales service. It enables our dispatchers to identify and assign our nearest available field mechanic to our customers. It allows us to provide our customers with real-time updates on our field mechanics' locations and their estimated arrival times. Smart Tracker not only enables us to provide great Toyota customer experience, but we're also able to significantly increase the productivity of our field mechanics. We're able to provide exceptional after-sales service effectively and efficiently, even with very limited resources on hand during this pandemic. Going digital is a new name of the game. Before, it was just an option, but now it's a must for all businesses to survive. Only businesses who embrace technology will have the edge of winning the battle against this pandemic as we face a new normal today and the years to come.
Now let's see for ourselves how efficient this really is. With Smart Tracker, logistics and retail companies can better predict when supplies will get to them and likewise when these can be delivered to their customers. In fact, Customers can even be provided with a link that will allow them to locate just where their deliveries are. Not only can you better manage time, you can better manage expectations as well. Of course, the same goes for the transportation industry, just as how seamless my experience was waiting for a company shuttle. Transport providers can guarantee their customers the same quality of service. This is because of Smart Tracker's monitoring in near real time. Likewise, HR teams can be assured of the safe and timely drop-off of their personnel across designated locations. And yep, there it is, right on cue. Now, let's move forward. But there are other ways to explore other than just getting around. Ever needed to be at two places at once? Well now, we can make that possible. Sort of. Smart queuing allows you to book your spot in line for establishments with long queues, even without physically being there. You can book from anywhere, using your phone or on site using brick and mortar queuing kiosks. Just reserve a virtual ticket so you can see where you are in line and which ticket is being served. So all that time spent waiting, yep, it's all gone. Now you can do whatever you want while waiting. And the best part is, it's like you never left the line. Not that you even really lined up to begin with. I can just open my Smart Queuing app, look at the ticket, and see how many more are lined up in front of me. It's like being in two places at once. No need for me to scramble out the door and fear the long lines. I mean, who wouldn't want that? Just imagine with this thing, we can finally do away with that payday queue. And shopping? Yep. This thing just made your next shopping trip much smoother and easier to plan out. Need to quickly grab something from the grocery? Line up ahead even while you're still on the way. It makes the trip less of a chore. Why not make it easier with a tool that helps practice social distancing? But if you think about it, the tomorrow we envision is more than just about save time. As the saying goes, our children are our future. We can't talk about how to keep moving forward without touching on what we're doing at present, how we're allowing today's learners to discover what the future holds. Yes, everything has changed, and that should all begin in school. Isn't that right, sir?
Hi, Chet. For the last 3 months, we have transitioned our operations online. We started offering our online classes through our LMS, which we had for the last 6 years, but we only deployed it on a partial manner. But when the pandemic happened, we shifted all our operations practically. So university operations, both for academic and non-academic, transition online. And right now we have closed the 3 campuses that we have, but our operations to our LMS and to our online services are ongoing.
So how do you think this will affect the setup you have right now? I mean, how do you extend classrooms, libraries, and other school setups to your homes, to the homes of your students and your faculty?
We have transitioned our services to virtual setup. So we are not only extending our classrooms, we are not transitioning face-to-face to virtual reality, but we are bringing the college experience, for example, the university life experience virtually. So it's not only the classrooms, but the formation activities, sports, cultural activities, non-curricular activities, extracurricular activities virtually. So connectivity is important. At the same time, proper IT equipment is important. And for this, our partner telco is crucial in order to connect our students through our virtual services. At the same time, we provide also IT equipment to students, especially those who don't have laptops or pads to access our services. So these are provided by the university through our donors, and we prioritize also those that are under scholarship so that they can continue their studies.
And if I'm not mistaken, you availed of Giga Study, right?
Well, the Giga Study can benefit our students because, first and foremost, the Giga Study has a program where sites that students will access from our school, especially these sites that are used for research and for reference materials, are whitelisted by SMART. So therefore, students will have less cost in terms of accessing the sites, and they can do more time in terms of accessing library materials, e-books, e-journals, and other materials that we have in our libraries. So the Giga Study is the best solution for students who are studying in our university.
So how do you think this will change things for you at Ateneo de Davao?
For starting this year, I think we have crossed a line, and there's no turning back. We have to use technology in order to reach more people. And when this pandemic is over, this kind of setup will not we will not go back just face to face immediately. We have to blend this so that some students don't have to go to school really physically. They can still be in their homes and study. So we will offer this arrangement as an option to students and as an option also to faculty. And I guess that's the way forward as of the moment. And especially that we have started first in the Philippines. So we have students coming from Luzon who transferred to our school because we started earlier. I think preparations in terms of technology will be a good example for schools who are experiencing so much challenges this time of pandemic. And yeah, we envision that this will be the way forward for schools in order to survive. Thank you very much, Chet, and good day.
Together with leading LMS providers, we've crafted various e-learning packages to cater to the needs of schools. Giga Study ensures seamless data access while keeping costs manageable. The offering is also agile enough to accommodate different applications for effective online learning. What's discovery without a little flexibility anyway? At the heart of any advancement is the commitment to improve the quality of life. That starts with taking care of ourselves and, of course, our health. Currently, our medical resources are limited, but like any other hurdle we've experienced, we can always respond with technology. Now, more than ever, connectivity and collaboration is of utmost importance to today's medical professionals. Let's hear it from a health professional, shall we? Hi, Dr. Zamora. How's everything?
Hi, Chet. Thanks for having me. And for your first question, as you've seen in the news, the medical field and profession has been pushed to its limit. So, in other words, we're pretty exhausted. But despite the work and effort that we have put out, the mortality and morbidity rate is still going up. However, as Filipinos, we are known for our perseverance and optimism. And as medical professions, this is our vocation. So we want the Filipinos to get through this war.
Has eHealth helped you during this time?
So for the e-health applications are very helpful for both medical professionals and patients. It can be used to assess whether or not the patient needs treatment in person. Like for example, in my specialization, ENT, there are some certain examinations and procedures that needs to be done in person. And then e-health application can also offer preventive care. But the most important benefits of e-health apps are safety and accessibility through the video calls while still offering medical health care.
Do you think this is going to change medical care as we know it?
Well, currently, e-health is still at its infancy and there's still room for improvement. It could be intimidating at first for both medical practitioner and patient alike. However, the dramatic changes to our daily lives are coming to view, and as we call it, the new normal. But safety and access to healthcare cannot be discounted. Therefore, e-health will be part of the medical care landscape. And since mobile devices are everywhere and our networks are getting faster, we now have 5G, we are more hopeful for safer and accessible healthcare for all Filipinos as we keep moving forward.
Wow, sounds like an exciting future for healthcare. Thanks for your thoughts again, Dr. Z.
Thanks, Chet. Bye.
Dr. Zamor's got it right. E-health is going to be big. Even years from now, this is going to be the standard for every healthcare professional. And we're making that possible with cloud-based solutions for healthcare that enable online consultation, prescription, scheduling, you name it, via a mobile app available for doctors and nurses, powered by Smart's mobility solutions. You don't even have to be at a clinic or a hospital to get the attention you need. I don't know about you, but that's a future that's promising to me. So there you have it, folks. A quick glimpse at the future by taking a look at what we have today. The best part is, this is just the beginning. As the landscape of work and life continue to take shape, we will continue to improve our solutions to better cater to the needs of our customers. This sets the groundwork for a better tomorrow, one where we can explore, discover, and live like never before. Sure, we don't have an exact picture of the future. Who knows how much can change in the next months or even years. I mean, no one could have predicted that we'd be here right now. But the only way to really know what the future holds is to keep moving forward.
Key in your questions, comments, and suggestions via the chat.
Right, a pleasant afternoon to everyone here. I'm Shawn Yao. Thank you all for tuning in this afternoon. And now that you have learned about the latest products and solutions designed to transform and redefine your operations as you guys move forward, it is time for us, on our part, to entertain some questions. So to all our viewers that are tuned in, you're in for a treat because just by participating in this segment, you get a chance to win some pretty exciting prizes. All you gotta do is just submit your questions by clicking on the link that we are showing in the chat box right now. And listen to this, what we will be giving away is one 5G mobile phone. This is a Huawei P40. We're gonna give away 5 Samsung Galaxy Fit smartwatches and 5 Samsung Galaxy Buds Bluetooth earbuds. These prizes will be randomly picked for the 11 lucky winners and viewers, of course, who will be participating and submitting their questions. So what else do you have to do? Key in your questions now. So again, only participants will be winning. So at this point, again, allow me to introduce you to our esteemed panelists, starting off with the Vice President and Head of Wireless Marketing and Infinity of PLDT Enterprise, Mr. Chet Alvis. We also have First Vice President and Head of Enterprise Core Business of PLDT Enterprise, Mr. Jojo Hendrano. And of course, Senior Vice President and Head of PLDT and Smart Enterprise Business and President and CEO of ePLDT, Mr. Jovi Hernandez. And we also have Chief Technology and Information Advisor of the PLDT Group, Mr. Joachim Horn. So again, to all our viewers, before we kick this off, you get a chance to win exciting prizes by simply participating in this Q&A segment. So to participate, simply click on the link in the chat box to submit your questions, and I will get to them first. But I think just to kick it off, I get to ask the first question. So you've been hearing keep moving forward throughout the whole entire discussion so far. Jovi, can you tell us about keep moving forward? Is this a pandemic-based kind of battle cry, or have we been doing this ever since before COVID-19 hit us?
Thanks, Sean. Good afternoon. Yeah, the effects of COVID-19 pandemic has been, to say the least, staggering. Many businesses have had to reinvent their operations, while others, sadly, even had to close up their businesses for good. With the modified ECQ in place again across the metro, a lot of businesses will once more face the challenges in their operations. We hope that during this period, businesses can prepare for better processes when they soon reopen again, using technologies and digital services to help them continue to thrive. With this campaign, we wanted to empower our customers to look forward to a smarter future with the solutions designed for the work setup of tomorrow. And this is precisely why we have been encouraged to actually have this event with you this afternoon, so that they would keep moving forward. And together we have to continue to explore, discover, and live. And you're right, we've been in this situation before, Sean, so hopefully we're better prepared.
That's right. This is, of course, round two, take two, so to speak. So what, Sir Jovi, have you done in the past, and what are you planning to build up now that we're entering another 2 weeks, best case scenario, of MECQ? So is there more that we can expect coming out from PLDT Enterprise?
Sure. I think, Sean, in the very beginning, when we first, all of us were surprised with the ECQ, and I think none of us were really that prepared. I think in the second round now, I think we're better prepared for that. And we have actually done a lot of adjustments in our processes, even in our own internal processes in PLDT and Smart. We're now able to approve things faster. Even if I'm not in the office, I'm able to approve that thanks to wireless technologies. And but one thing that I want to highlight is that when we talk about recovery and rebuilding, we wanted to take a more positive view, Sean. We say it's time to rediscover and reinvent rather than recovery. As our chairman and VP often say, we are in the business of nation building, and we have, I think, never embraced this call more than we do today. In fact, we saw our business shift from revenues to service. And I think what Jorn presented a while ago is quite critical. Sometimes you take it for granted, but the amount of service that we have delivered to the Filipino people during this pandemic, we're very proud of that. And for PLDT Enterprise, we're really focused on specific industries now that need help. For example, the education sector, we're working very closely with a lot of the schools and government to be able to enable education by the 24th of August, I believe. And we have empowered a lot of students and teachers as we speak. And also the SME sector is quite an important area for us. In fact, we have launched a stimulus package, Sean, for SMEs. The stimulus package, we're giving them the connectivity for them to be able to operate, and it's free for 3 months.
3 months free. Wow. Okay. Going back to what you said, Sir Joey, but I wanted to direct this question this time around to Chet, because in his presentation, we all saw the man from, or sir from Ateneo de Davao talking about, learning now, going into a whole new direction, a whole new tangent that we never experienced before. And he even said we might not really go back to, the old school way of classroom learning purely, even after the pandemic. Chet, when it comes to schools, right? We heard from you, of course, how the schools are applying all the technology from PLDT. But on the student part, how do we match it from that end? Because as we know, when you're doing a video chat, if one person has a really good connection and is completely kitted out, but the other end is, not quite there, it sort of still creates that mismatch. So how do you address that, Chet?
Yeah, thanks, Sean. So I think that's what GigaStudy actually answers. No, the solution that we provided would enable students to access daily data allocation. So that's 1 gig up to 3 gigs. This will enable them to actually use up their internet for just the applications that they're going to use for school. So actually, my son, he's on the other room. I asked him to use his GigaStudy so that he makes sure that it's the only application that he uses. No, so that's one thing. And going back to your question, I guess it's a very exciting time for us. We're actually also learning. And this GigaStudy was actually brought about by our discussions with the Philippine Association of Colleges and Universities and other associations and other discussions and dialogues with schools. And I think that's a formula that we're continuing to do with in enterprise. No. So not just schools, of course, we've also had discussions and dialogues with the public sector, the medical industry. That's why we came up with eHealth. We're also in talks with transport and manufacturing. That's why we're in discussions, and we came out with Smart Tracker, and with our retail grocery and other partners, we also came out with smart queuing. So these are solutions that we feel are very practical but very needed at this point. No?
All right, so this time around, let's go over to Yorn, because I understand that you have launched 5G, and it's not just relegated anymore to just smart cities, right? It is just more widespread rollout. How does this then help all these products that we heard Chet talking about, and all these new offerings that Smart has, and how does it all tie in really? And is 5G really the wave of the future? Will this render 4G, 3G, 2G obsolete?
Eventually, maybe. But at the moment, I think 5G you have to see as a new opportunity for a certain set of people. Of course, it's open now for consumer, meaning we have launched it. You can go into a smart shop in those areas where we have launched and avail of a 5G phone. And we have actually a selection of them already available. And what you will experience immediately is a much faster service. And also, if you are gaming addict, lower latency, so your games work even better if you do cloud gaming. And so that's an immediate benefit, but it's not so different to what actually LTE also brings. If you have a very good LTE phone these days, you can also have a very good service. As we emphasized before, 5G has a fundamental difference to LTE, to any of the standards before 2G, 3G, 4G. 5G is a very flexible platform for innovation. It has capability we have not seen before in a network. And you cannot just give somebody a smartphone and then he can use all these capabilities, because you have to create what we call the use case. That's the specific situation a business is in, whether it's steering a traffic flow or use augmented reality to give people an impression for visiting a museum, even if you don't go there, or for supporting distance learning. There's so many different things. And 5G provides things like ultra high reliability. So you can make parts of the network so reliable that you can even use self-driving cars with 5G. Now, will there be self-driving cars because we put 5G there? No, but the opportunity is there. So we need to work with the various businesses, and this is what these gentlemen actually can do, to find out what can 5G do for you specifically. And will it replace LTE? Not in the foreseeable future. LTE has still a lot to provide. If you're just a user of mobile broadband, it's an excellent technology.
So having said all of that, Yorn, I want to ask Jojo now. Then, like Yorn said, the 5G is there, but it must be utilized. And he talked about user cases. Are there enough user cases around maybe the Asia-Pacific region, maybe the ASEAN region that you can tell us about, just so we have a big idea? Because all these things right now are like concepts to most people. They can't quite put it together. So maybe, Jojo, you can shed some clarity on this and tell us how people can actually use 5G technology in an actual case, an actual example.
Sure. So thanks and good afternoon, Sean. So much has been said about 5G use cases in China, Korea, Japan, etc., being used for, say, smart cities, use cases like telemedicine, And we see a lot of, say, live use cases. Some are in production, some are on trials. But as previously discussed, it's a journey, and we've been in this journey for quite some time. As Jorn had mentioned earlier, we had showcased during late last year's Southeast Asian Games, where we showed, say, consumer use cases like for cloud gaming and enterprise use cases for smart parking and other video analytics use cases where we require a smart camera, for example. And in these situations, while it can work on LTE, 5G can actually aid in the accuracy and the processing speed of such applications. The 2020 Tokyo Olympics was supposed to be a showcase of a lot of 5G for sports, and there's a lot of use cases there that are being planned. And we just hope that when we get closer to the next normal, that we can start experiencing them again. An interesting COVID accelerated use case would be for manufacturing, where the sector is looking for ways to be a lot more efficient given the personnel constraints. So 5G can aid with process accuracy due to lower latency. There's also the higher reliability of 5G, which aids overall efficiency. And when dense deployment of sensors are needed in a factory, for example, 5G can handle it so much better than with other wireless technologies. So, and in certain cases, a private 5G network will be beneficial to give enterprises added security and more control. Lastly, we don't build these 5G use cases in a vacuum. So these use cases will require enterprise partnership. We cannot do it alone. So we're constantly looking for partners to help us develop more and more use cases. And we'd like to use this as an open invitation to our enterprise customers as well to talk to us. Let's discuss. Let's build and develop 5G and other wireless technology use cases together.
All right, that was an open invitation for anyone to just call maybe the relationship managers with enterprise to discuss what's available. But the chat box is now very, very busy. So I'm going to ask you, Jojo, and just to continue that thought, since we're already on that topic. This question is coming from Maria Lourdes Macarañas. What services can you offer for businesses with a shared service setup currently, for example?
So around shared services, that's actually that in the BPO sector actually has made up the bulk of a fair amount of the inquiries we've gotten during ECQ. So at first, it starts off with obviously having reliable connectivity, right, and having the agility of wireless solutions and the flexibility make it paramount and easier to start off deploying a wireless solution. We also have managed equipment, for example, where you can have the same security of your network in the office with special routers and special equipment. You can actually extend that security all the way to the home. So it's as if the shared service employee working at home is actually, from a security policies and capability, has the same amount of capability at home as if they were in the office. Right. So that those are the top of mind use cases.
All right, flowing just from that topic, this question now goes out to chat. This is from Donovan Yu. He's asking if Smart has partnered with any hardware suppliers that will make 5G useful in commercial businesses, apart from just cell phones. I know you have a good answer to this.
Yeah, well, we're in the early stages, of course. We've along with the team of Jorn and the tech and network teams, we're always on the lookout, of course, for devices other than mobile phones, and that dovetails to Jorn and Jojo's mention also of us looking for use cases. So, of course, we're always open to that. Partnerships, again, like what Jojo mentioned, we cannot live alone in this journey. So if there are hardware partners out there and it works well with our network, and Sir Jorn here is going to be taking a look at that as well, we're open to it. Yeah.
All right, Jorn, this one's for you. Just again, continuing the same thought. This one is from Lawrence Marasigan. He's asking, how much is Smart PLDT investing in 5G for this year, 2020? Will it now become a priority given that almost all industries are going digital based on from the impetus of this pandemic?
This is a very good question, but it's not easy to answer because there is no simple 5G investment. You put in so many billion peso and then you get 5G. In fact, in order to provide 5G, you had to transform the whole network. This is what I said before. The $5 billion we spent over the last 5 years were necessary to get us ready for 5G. Of course, we also provide the LTE service, we provide our fiber service. So you cannot have 5G without fiber, for example. You cannot have 5G without excellent international connectivity. You have to improve the latency. You need to virtualize your whole network, and so on and so forth. So cloud technology was very critical. So I think it's fair to say that the majority of our investments we do on a yearly basis in this range of 60, 70 billion peso this year will again help our 5G to be able to be launched and also further improve our existing networks. It's a highly synergetic approach, not a separate network. And don't trust anybody who says, I have 5G, but didn't transform the rest of their network, has no fiber out there. It can't be a good service.
All right. So before we go get back to the company, let's just ask one more question because we were talking about use cases. So we did clearly see use cases in hospitals and healthcare. We saw use cases in, of course, e-commerce, logistics, trucking, and all of that. We also saw the use case for learning, right? But what about other sectors like banks, BPOs, even POGOs, I guess, are up there, right? This one goes out to you, Jojo. How can a BPO take advantage of 5G given that in this new normal, we no longer depend heavily on a business center, but instead employees work from home? This is from Kelly Sarfati.
So I answered that earlier. So, but just to add, it doesn't necessarily require 5G. But having a wireless mode of connectivity actually makes things, better. So it adds more options. There's better flexibility, and you can even have a case where in a BPO context where service and reliability is also very important. That you can link together or bundle together both a fixed and a wireless connectivity option. So having both fiber and 5G, say, in the future could be a good mode of high reliability connection mode.
All right. I hope that answered your question. Sir Jovi, YouTube user Metropolar wants to know what you think will be the positive impact of these new service portfolios from Smart and PLDT. How can they impact businesses in a big way?
I think, as Jorn mentioned, there's a lot of technology platforms available today. It's not only 5G. You have LTE, which is very robust. I think what we need to do is to really sit down with the industries on how these technologies can actually, first of all, automate some of the processes. I think that's one of the big realizations that we've had during this pandemic, when we were able to automate a lot of our processes inside the office. I mean, everything became more efficient. And I think it's quite important to state that for PLDT and Smart, I'll just say hi to my big boss, Al Panlilio. He's the biggest, we call him our chief customer champion in the group, right? So our vision is really in the future. You shouldn't care actually what technology the service is running on. It's like Meralco. Even if it's hydroelectric power or nuclear power, as long as you turn on your lights and it's working, it's all about the customer experience. And with Al at the fore, that was something that was really driven to us, and that's why you're seeing that a lot of the solutions that we talk about now is really talking about the value it brings rather than what particular technology we're talking about. Yes, it is important, and that's why we have the best German guy in the company, Jorn, to help us in that regard, right? But at the end of the day, if we're able to deliver value to the Filipino people, I think that's what counts.
Very well said, sir. Now, it is, of course, this next question coming from Joselito Mabansag is actually quite timely. They actually want to know how you interface with your clients, with your customers. He's wondering if it's so much harder now that, that there's no face-to-face interaction. But I'm sure you guys have an answer for this.
It's actually not harder. It's easier, except that working hours have extended. We have online meetings from 7 to 7.
But you don't have to sit in traffic for an hour, so that's maybe one or two extra meetings, right?
So I answered that too simply. I think it's difficult. It was difficult. We had to adjust, quite frankly. Yes, working hours are longer. But I think it's the collaboration is much faster now. You don't have to wait. So we're looking at a lot more technologies on how, again, we can automate in the future. You have self-service portals now being developed. Can a customer can now contact us? Before, they had to call 177, right? And we're trying to fix that also. But are there other means now that are more digital in terms of getting service levels up and running at the fastest possible time? So again, all of these things are powered by technology, and we're not perfect. What we're saying is that what we can commit as a group is that we're here to help our customers and to the best way we can, and as long as we can put the resources of the company together to be able to help them, I think that should be our mantra.
All right. What about as MSMEs? As we know, most of the businesses that exist here in the Philippines are all MSMEs, and quite a lot of them have sprung up because of people staying home, perhaps losing their jobs, students that are not going to school. They are now all entrepreneurs, right? Even I have something like that came out of this pandemic. What can a normal MSME owner or entrepreneur avail of when it comes to all these new services and offerings from Smart and PLDT?
So I'll take that. So our of digital services for any enterprise, but with unique focus for the MSME sector. So it starts off with having reliable connectivity, but from there being able to say have a payment solution from something like Paymaya, having an IoT smart camera solution. So we want to simplify the customer journey for the MSMEs so that it's easier for them to get our services. And then Boss Jovi had also mentioned earlier that we have a stimulus package. So 3 months offer, free for the first 3-month offer on promo until the end of the month.
All right, I think this last question, maybe the last question, let's see how much time we have. But Chet, we've been talking about it from the business side of things, but for a regular consumer who just maybe likes to play games, maybe just wanting a really fast internet connection for whatever personal reason, maybe could be a work/personal reason, are there actually commercial plans available? Because it seems to be the problem or the issue initially with 5G here in the Philippines, at least, is that we can't really avail of it as a normal, average Joe. But now, can we do that? Can consumers actually access 5G service?
Yeah, so that's a good question, Sean. So yeah, our my colleagues from the consumer group actually launched 5G. There are available plans on Smart Signature on small, medium, large, and extra large plans. They're going to be made available, and I think they're available at the Smart online store. So, as long as you're within the areas that 5G is, available in select areas in Makati, I think in BGC there's one, in Manila, some parts of North Luzon also. So they can avail of this. Of course, they have to be on certified 5G devices. They come in different brands and models. And it's the same thing. Both for consumers and enterprises, we actually came up with the first commercial plans for postpaid for 5G. And it's actually available already. So for enterprises, you can just give us a call or your relationship manager, and they'll set you up very quickly.
All right, thanks for that, Chet. Now, on the other side of the coin, there's a lot of less techie people who might actually know about 5G because they hear about it in the news all the time, or they read about it, but they don't actually know what 5G is or what they can do. Jorn, when you say that 5G is flexible, maybe Jovi, you can answer this too and make it a little bit more pedestrian for non-techies. What do you mean exactly when you say 5G is flexible? What does that mean for a consumer or even a small entrepreneur maybe, or a student?
No, for the consumer, as I think the first thing, as I said before, what they will see is actually the same like LTE, but much faster. And that all of a sudden they can use their cloud gaming a completely different experience. The reaction will be, for cloud gamers, latency, the word of latency is very important. That is how fast the network can react if you push the button to shoot somebody or whatever you do. And that was 5G immediately. Now for consumer, the more complex use cases is actually more for enterprise, interesting. But What I believe is over time that from an enterprise usage, more consumer use cases will come out. For example, we heard about queuing. Like I can register for queuing before, or this is without human interaction necessary because of the social distancing. So these are things which are not yet immediately there, but will become available very quickly. And one last word, even if you don't have 5G, many of these benefits will come to 4G because the investments we did are very synergetic. The improvements we put into our network will also benefit 4G users. So LTE will remain the workhorse for mobile connectivity if you are a consumer. And the 5G will come over time, and more applications will become visible. Jovi?
Thanks, Jorn. And I think, Sean, what's critical, I'm not also that techie at the level of Jorn, but I think what's important to consider in 5G is the ultra low latency. What does that mean? It's really faster response. Now, while we say that driverless cars will not be in the Philippines, maybe not, but I have seen use cases in Asia where even heavy machinery, for example, excavating machines, are not anymore driven by people who are actually in the heavy machinery. They're actually being driven in a remote place. So if there are things like that is a kind of dangerous, then 5G can actually be able to we should be able to use 5G in terms of that application. You talk about smart agriculture, for example. A lot of people are saying that maybe drones can start to deliver, maybe drones can spray the fertilizer in the agricultural crops in big areas of land. Again, a lot of these use cases are ideas. And I think that's also the reason why our tagline is to really explore and discover, because we really want to discover with our customers what could be applicable in the country and what could be of value.
All right, and just like that, we've run all out of time. But before we end, Sir Jovi, would you like to say a few words to everyone before we officially close the program for everyone who joined us today?
Sure. First of all, again, thank you very much, Sean, for joining us, and thank you for wearing green. Thanks so much to Jorn and my colleagues from PLDT Enterprise, Jojo and Chet. And thank you everybody for joining us this afternoon. I know it's MECQ again, but again, the tagline of keep moving forward is the one that really propelled us to really continue with this event, because we know that we can help by giving information in terms of the wireless technologies that we have. As a last message, again, we reiterate, we've been in this situation before. Despite the low moments before, we have always found our highs. Where we have found sorrow, we always find joy. In weakness, we find strength. And I think the resilience of the Filipino, as long as we work together, and with the technologies that abound that we could use, let's continue together to explore, discover, and live. And together, let's keep moving forward.
That's right. My dad always tells me that no matter what you do, just keep moving and make sure you move forward, not backward, right? And in this time, maybe it does show a lot of the ugly things about society, but it also presents, the most beautiful and most opportunistic things, and the best things can come out. Thank you very much for those words, Mr. Hernandez. And thank you, of course, to all our panelists as well. We have Jojo, of course, Jorn and Chet for joining us this afternoon. I'd also like to thank each and every one of our viewers who participated during the Q&A. Rest assured that PLDT Enterprise will be reaching out to all you winners for instructions on how you will get your prizes. So if you have any more queries, though, on the different smart solutions that were presented quickly today, simply send them to the email address that you see on your screen. Or if you want to learn more about these products, simply scan this QR code or visit the website. So I'm going to give you some time for that. QR code's flashed right now. So to all our presenters and panelists this afternoon, and to all our viewers as well, on behalf of PLDT Enterprise and Smart, thank you all for spending this memorable first Take 2 MECQ afternoon with us. Once again, I'm Shawnee Yao, and this has been Smart's Keep Moving Forward virtual event. Have a great Tuesday afternoon, everyone.
smile of a total stranger, the voice of a loved one, the taste of something sweet, the warmth of an embrace. Simple moments remind us of what matters most. These moments make us believe there are better things ahead. These moments fuel us to carry on and keep moving forward. Sometimes when it feels like there's nowhere else to go, like nothing is going your way, when all seems hopeless, have the courage to move forward. Explore, discover, live. Sometimes it's the little things that keep us moving forward.
Kasi yun ang dilim sa office namin. Kailangan nyo makita.